The concept that I outlined for him was really a two-step. I said I've spent 30 years in higher education, but I spent the last decade setting up a foundation for at-risk kids. And one of the things that I found worked really well was the mentoring component of that program. And so what I'm suggesting is that we try not to do this blanket over a 10,000 student school district, but that we take a school or two and attempt to see how this tests out. And what I thought would be helpful would be to have middle school kids be mentors to elementary school kids, to have high school kids be mentors to middle school kids, and if college students be mentors to high school students. I also suggested that one of the things that we might want to look into, especially on the Hill, as you know, where there is almost nothing for young people to do. Carver's closed, Hamilton, the Arts Center has difficulties, and the Boys Club or the Girls Club is moving to Mount Pleasant. Why not start this program in one of the schools that are facing possible receivership? Let's test the program there, but then let's also have that school become a neighborhood center. Keep it open, especially on weekends. Have a place where kids can go. The costs involved in that would probably be, if it's just weekends, in the $50,000 to $100,000 range. If the school is kept open longer during the course of the day, there might be some additional costs. But presently, they're open until about 5 o'clock anyway.
Who would pick up the cost of that?
Well, that's something, obviously, that one would have to work on. But when one talks about a Carver Community Center, for instance, where the opening bid is supposed to be $150,000, and there's been 2 auctions with no one stepping forward, and where I'm told you're talking about another $500,000 perhaps to renovate it, and where you then have to staff it. If you compare the two approaches, they're dramatically different in cost. And so the idea would be, this is a twofer. On the one hand, you do something that I believe strongly, based on the experience I've had at 12 colleges from Massachusetts to Wyoming, where I've set up Help Yourself Academies. You will have an improved graduation rate. And 2, you have, with the concept of this neighborhood center, an opportunity to give children something they don't have now.
Right, okay. All right. And like I said, you mentioned it, you talked with Superintendent Spring about it. And again, I talked with him, but he seemed like this was something that he'd be amenable to.
Yeah, I think so, but again,
I will talk to him, right,
but I just don't want to speak for him.
I understand that, okay. And obviously, I mean, this is something that's well thought out, and this is a critical piece in terms of, I guess, improving Schenectady as a whole, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. I mean, why it's so important to you.
Well, I think we are all in this together. And when I say we all, I'm talking about all parts of this community. And in one part of the community, Hamilton Hill has no assets you can turn to in terms of what children can use and have. I want to see if there's some way to address it. My expertise in the last 40 years has been in the education world. Okay, and so my focus initially was to deal with the graduation rates, which are simply too low. Right. Money is part of the problem. Homes and difficulties with surrogates or parents is another. And I felt that based on the experience I've had at these Help Yourself Academies over the last decade, we have an answer that is a low-cost, partial solution. It is not the answer, and I don't pretend it to be, but it's a way of addressing the problem that presently we are not. And so, as I started thinking this through, what I suddenly realized, wait a second, there's also an opportunity to address the glaring absence of a neighborhood center on the Hill. And so I felt this would be a good way, if you're going to want to test anything before you go further and scale it up. Let's take a school that is in trouble, where the kids really are behind so far as their contemporaries are concerned. That school, one of them is on the hill, Lily. Let's take it. Let's try this program, and let's then also use that building as a neighborhood center. And again, you know, that's up to the superintendent.
Right.
It's his decision, the school board's decision as to how to proceed. I'm simply offering an idea based on my experience that I believe can work.
Anything else? That's pretty straightforward.
Nothing else, I'm always straightforward.
Yeah, Artie, very good. Like I told you, that story should run over the weekend is what I'm